We are taught that empathy is the highest human virtue, a gift of pure connection. To truly feel what another feels, to carry a piece of their world inside yours. But energy is bound by laws. When you heal another, where does their pain go? The world is full of broken signals, desperately looking for a place to land. Hyperempathy is not just listening. It is a magnetic pull you cannot control. An open, unshielded frequency, absorbing every silent scream in the room, until the external signals overload and your own identity begins to fracture. This is the hidden weight of the deeply caring, the trap of the open heart. You spend your life saving others from drowning, only to realize you are sinking. Human society operates on an unspoken, invisible economy of emotional offloading. Most people actively seek a container for their chaos. You became the perfect vessel. You absorb their anger, their grief, their quiet tragedies, holding it all inside your frame. Once relieved, they walk away lighter, leaving you heavy with ghosts that aren't yours. Responsibility shifts. The crowd assumes that because you care, you can handle it. But a single mind was never wired to process the collective trauma of a crowd. You walk through daily life completely overwhelmed by the invisible static of passing strangers. Every casual interaction transfers a hidden scar, a microscopic piece of psychological decay. One step at a time, your own boundaries dissolve entirely into the noise. You become a phantom hallway where other people's suffering simply walks through. The sensory overload turns inward, slowly swallowing the light you once possessed. You want to call out for help, but how do you explain a pain that isn't yours? So you drop into a deep, silent, suffocating ocean of absorbed sorrow. This is not just sadness or drama, it is connected to how our brain works. Deep inside the brain, we have mirror neurons. These neurons help us feel and copy the emotions of people around us. When we see pain, stress, or fear, our brain reflects those feelings automatically. But today's world is always connected through social media, news, and constant information. Because of this, our brains keep absorbing other people's suffering again and again without rest. This is called emotional contagion. It is like an invisible virus of emotions that slowly drains your mental energy. When you take in too much pain from the outside world, you start losing connection with yourself. The line between your emotions and other people's emotions becomes unclear. Your emotional energy becomes completely empty. At this point, normal rest is not enough anymore. Your mind feels deeply exhausted. This can lead to compassion fatigue, a state where you become emotionally numb because you have seen and felt too much suffering for too long. You stop feeling emotions normally. The pressure of caring about everything becomes too heavy for the mind to handle. Eventually, the mind feels broken inside. And even when you try to heal, you may feel like you are no longer the same person you used to be. And this is where the empathy paradox becomes dangerous. People who feel emotions deeply often attract toxic people. These people take love, energy, and kindness without giving anything back. They notice your weak boundaries. They see that you struggle to say no. And slowly, they begin draining your emotional energy. Many people think isolation is the answer, but cutting yourself away from the world becomes another trap. Real healing begins when you stop believing that you must save everyone around you. A personal boundary is not selfish or cruel. It is emotional protection. You must learn the difference between understanding someone's pain and carrying it inside yourself. Not every problem is yours to fix. Not every burden belongs on your shoulders. Your job is not to absorb everyone's suffering. Your job is to protect your own mind while still staying human. Over time, you must rebuild yourself, not as someone constantly bleeding for others, but as someone calm, stable, and strong. Because in the end, you cannot pour from an empty cup. If you want your light to survive, you must learn to protect it.